All right, this is the How to Assemble a Color Wheel Quarantine Edition style. There are a couple of different options depending on whether you have the original large 13 by 19 template or the one that some of you are able to print at home, which is the 13 by 19 template but printed out on 8.5 by 11 paper. As you recall, I mentioned that if you can print this out, if you can using Preview, and you print it out at 65%, it will come out this size. So that should do the trick for those of you that do have printers. For those of you that do not, I designed this color scales document, and it's on the Google Drive, so you can download it in its actual size. And I even cleaned it up a little bit because this one has ink stains on it. Anyway, we'll talk about that in a minute. So those are your three options. You either are able to, you already got the 13 by 19 large version, in which case you're all set. Or you had to print one out that's 8.5 by 11 like this one, or you'll have to make your own using the template that I recently posted on the Google Drive. Okay, so the first thing you have to do is cut out your swatches, which you all remember how to do. I just made a single page instead of the three that you were all going to use. And remember to mark your yellow out of the tube, you know, that it's, see, I got a little Y there. Your magenta out of the tube here, and your cyan, like down here. So make sure that you mark those first and keep those separate, because those have specific locations that they go in on either the original color wheel template or the color scales for those of you that are doing that. So it's the same thing, just use scissors. You know, you don't need any straight lines here. You're going to cut these all up yourself. And I'm just going to do the warm side first. Like that. And obviously I didn't paint so many that I will have a long time sorting it, because I just don't want this video to go on too long. That's part of the deal that you're going to have to do yourselves. Normally in this assignment, it's just like the grayscale, where what you're doing is, and again, make sure that you do cut. It doesn't have to be straight, but you do need one edge like this cut, you know, that doesn't have white all around it. That is so that you can do a better job judging your color quality and if it is gradating well through all the different colors. Okay, so that's what I'm doing here. All right, so those are all done. That one was a little out of order. And I'll cut the edge off this one because that didn't look good. Okay, so here they all are, and it's, you know, the same deal that you did before. You have to, you know, yellow's at the top, and you're just trying to gradate the rest of them. So I'm gonna get these all in order really quickly. I know it's going to take you guys a little bit longer, but like I said, I don't want to waste your time. So we've got yellow. Here's some oranges. This one's lighter. Okay. And you're going to use a window like this. I have the original illustration board ones. They're a little, it's better if you can use an illustration board just because it's a little more rigid. It'll hold the swatches down better. But if you want to use, you can use paper. Just, you know, cut a piece of paper, you know, and just cut it. As you know, when you're doing the window part, this doesn't have to be accurate. So just, you know, cut it with a scissors or something like that. So, but I still have this one, so that's what I'm going to use. This is a little bit lighter. Now it's a little bit darker. Okay. Boom. So still got the yellow here. Oranges and reds are here. That one's darker than that one. Okay, so I've got them in order. Almost. This one, these are about the same. That one's a little bit redder. Okay. And then that, here's your magenta. Now it's important that, and this is helpful too if you guys are doing warm and cool separately, is remember that when you're laying out your scale, if you're doing this, if this is going to be the final color wheel / color scale that you turn in, then this is all you have to worry about. But those of you that are doing the, where it's actually a wheel, you do want to make sure that these are all in the right order. So for everybody, when you're breaking it into warm and cool sides of the color wheel, remember that on the warm side, yellow's at the top, magenta is the 9th one. It has to be in that place, okay? And then violet is at the bottom. On the cool side, the first one will be yellow-green, and the cerulean will be the 8th one, okay? So this is this is position 8. Write that down. This is position 9 out of 12, right? And then blue-violet will be at the bottom. But so you have to make sure the yellow has to go number 1 in the warm position. It has to go in, the magenta has to be number 9, and on the cool side, the cerulean's number 8 out of the 2. So make sure that you do that. And so that's why you have to label them to make sure, okay, cerulean's magenta's gonna be the, is gonna be the 9th one, so I have to make sure that that stays that way. I did a terrible job on these swatches, right? Oh my God, they're so horrible. Okay, that's a little cooler and more magenta. There is the magenta. And I know, sorry guys, I just want to, make sure. I didn't want to have them cut out already. That would have sped the video up, but it also would have, I want to make sure that everybody remembers how to do this from the grayscale days. Okay. That looks pretty good. There's my magenta. And here are that's my violets, like that, okay. And just, as you always did in the grayscales, just sort them all like that. As close, overlap them as much as you can. All right. And use this guy, let's see what we got. Now again, I don't have, you will be selecting from a much larger grouping of colors. So it'll be a little bit easier for you. So I know that I've got here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So I can lose 2. And I'm looking at this going, there's a bit of a jump right here. Do I really need that one? Like these two are pretty close. So I think I can pull out this one. So I'm going to pull out one. And I can definitely pull out one of these reds before we get to magenta. Actually, magenta is going to be 9, 10, 11, so I do need a 12th. So and these did run off into the other part. So I'm just going to use this one as 12 for the sake of the demo. All right. So there's your blue violet down there. Okay. 12, 11, 10, 9. And I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So I need to pull out 2 of these reds, and these are some of these are easily dumpable. they're too similar to one another. So in this instance, I'm going to go. This one's a terribly painted swatch. It's got this big brush stroke down the middle. So I'll get rid of that one too. This one's a little cleaner. The one nice thing about those of you that are unable to do the full-size 1-inch swatches is you're cutting out such a small piece that you should be okay. Like quality actually should look pretty good. So don't worry too much about that. There we go. All right, so here we are. I'm down to my final 12. Let's make sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 is magenta. Good. 10, 11, 12. Now, is it a little bit jumpy? Absolutely. Again, that's just because I didn't make enough swatches. You all should have enough swatches that you'll be able to get a better gradation, but this isn't like the worst thing in the world. So I'm all ready to go. Like I've got my warm side. Okay, these guys are gone. I get rid of those guys. Boom. Okay. So this is what you need to do. All right. I cut out. I did this actually with a Post-it so that it would be clearer. I'm just making sure you guys can see. So I just cut a Post-it up so that the color is different than white so you can see it more clearly on the video. And I cut out a square that's 1 inch, okay? And I also cut out another square that's 1/2 inch. If you are using, okay, I'm just, sorry, I keep turning my head to make sure that I'm like aiming this right. So 1 inch square, 1/2 inch square. If you have the 13 by 19 template, you use the 1 inch square as your cutting guide. Everybody else, if you're using the scales template instead, this, or if you're using the smaller version of the wheel, this, then you're going to cut out 1/2 inch. And all you need to do is this. So I'll pretend for argument's sake, you know, that this would be, I'm working on the large one. So I'm just going to take this, okay, and just really quickly, I'm just going to like draw a little square around it, you know, like that. And that's it. And I'm going to cut it out. Now, is it going to be perfectly straight? Is it going to be perfectly square? Maybe not, you know, but just cut it down on the, like on the back that way. Don't do this on the front of the swatch. I don't want to see pencil or pen marks on them. Okay. And unfortunately, I don't have a, I would try to cut it large first, and then you can always trim it and make it smaller. I do not have a 13 by 19 template myself here at home. So actually what I do have is this cutting surface, which will substitute. And these are all 1 inch squares, if you can see that on the cutting surface. So I'm going to look at this and go, it's a little too big. You know, I can cut it down. Now I am going to do it on this side because I'm just going to kind of mark off here, and cut inside those lines. And that should be about 1 inch. And if it's not precisely 1 inch, who cares? You know, you just want it to look as good as you can. Okay. Here, now how's that? Now that is